Hey, good morning everybody. Peter KJ5AJB for Ham Radio Crib Notes. Today we're going to talk some more about some CAT interface setups for the Kenwood 590SG. You might be able to apply those to other rigs too with the software I'm going to be messing with today on a Mac. As far as applications on Windows units, I'm using FLRig on my Mac here. I think you have to possibly use OmniRig on the PC if you're going to try and attempt something similar here. I'm sitting here listening to the morning net at the same time, so you might be able to hear that noise in the background. I don't know. I have isolation turned on my mic, so hopefully not. But anyways, one of the other things I thought about today when I was doing this is serials interfaces, and why are we still using them nowadays? On a lot of the radios still use the RS-232 interface to do the CAT commands and stuff, and it's fairly well outdated. You know, it came out in the 60s, and it's been around a long time. My radio also has a USB port on it too, but still the way it interfaces with the radio is via RS-232 over a USB cable. So some of the higher end of radios I know do have network interfaces, Ethernet ports on them, and that's kind of moved up in the world some. But for a lot of the radios, they're still on RS-232, and I just kind of wonder why they haven't actually moved up to something newer, you know, like USB. I mean, our computers are already up to USB-C nowadays. So anyways, with that, let's go ahead and we'll get started here and rolling, and we'll see how things pan out here. I hope you enjoy the info. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank for all the new subscribers. I think I'm up to 116 now. Got a goal of trying to hit 500 here first so I can get somewhat monetized with YouTube, supplement some retirement income here. So let's go ahead and get going. All right, everybody, I'm on my Mac Mini here that I use to control my radio, and you can see the software displayed I'm using at the time. In the past, I showed you how to use CubicSDR and a little USB SDR receiver to interface via the USB serial feed to the Kenwood TS-590SG, and I tended to find the limitations were kind of significant. Other than I could just change the frequency, I would have to manually set the LSB or US upper sideband, whatever I happen to be using at the time, manually. Okay, but I wanted a few more controls on there too. And I did another video where I experimented using Parallels desktop on the Mac, and then using the Kenwood software to control the receiver, and that worked all right too. But the cost limitations of having Parallels as a subscription was a bit out of my price range. But I do believe you can now pay a one-time fee for just simple use. But I decided to go a different route. So on my desktop right now, you can see I've got the CubicSDR software running here, and I've also got FLRig up on the upper left there. And I've got HamLog in the lower left. So what I was able to figure out was to not use the UART selection as the driver to interface with the Kenwood. When you plug, even though you have the UART driver in there, it also in the background loads two other interfaces that are the same thing, feeds to the same cable, the same serial port. One is like a CUTTY, and the other is something else. And I can show you that here on FLRig real quick. So if I go into the config on that and go to setup and transceiver, you can see here I'm using the dev TTY USB serial, but then it's also got let me bring up this real quick. You can also see right here if I could magnify it, you've got the CU USB serial, the same port, but it's a CU, and down here is a TTY. That's the one we want to use for controlling the radio. So anyways, now that you see that, you can see that I'm not using the Silicon Labs USB to UART connection there. So I'll go ahead and close that out. So what you want to do is on when you set up CubicSDR, you go up here to the rig control in the upper top there, and you go down to your control port here, and you can see I've got the device TTY-USB serial selected. Okay, I've already got that set up on this. So you can also see that my frequency here matches the frequency here. Okay, so both of these, but the main difference is on the rig control on CubicSDR is you have to set it to follow rig, not control rig. Okay, otherwise they'll fight over the port. So again, you want it to set to follow the rig. In other words, it's going to follow the rig control as far as your frequency goes, so that your waterfall display will be keeping up to date for you. Then I also showed you in the setup config for the transceiver here is I've got the TS-590SG as the rig selected, that same port selected. Got my baud rate, which is 115.2, which has the match what you got to have set in your radio. One stop bit and RTS, CTS checked. Okay. And here I've got the green light showing it's connected on my init. So now, if you watch, when I change the frequency over here, you can also see it changing on my CubicSDR, and you can also see it down here on my camera on the radio too. So, okay. So I don't have as many controls as I did with the Kenwood software, but a lot of them I don't need to use all the time. I set them in the menus on the radio and pretty much leave them alone. The main things I have on here is for my power measure control. And I also have my preamp, my noise blanking, the auto notch is turned on. What VFO control I want, I'm on VFOA. I can switch to B if I want to. I'll do that real quick just to show you that it's highlighted. The one thing drawback to the Cubic software is it does not follow the rig control for the second VFO. It only follows for the primary VFO, which is, you know, kind of a drawback, but it works. You know, you got AB switch, tune, push to talk, your noise reductions and stuff, volume, all that good stuff. Okay, so like right now I've got the volume turned down. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but yeah, they're talking in the background here. So bring it up a little bit. So, okay. Then the other addition to this is I use HamLog as my logging software, so I'll bring that to the front here so you can get a look at that. And in it, you go up here to the settings tab on it, and then you'll see here on TX1, I have use cat selected. The type manufacturer is others, type is FLRig, okay? And this is where you set your port at over here, where it says cat TCP. And FLRigs is 127.0.0.1, port 12345. So I'll close that out. So if you also notice on HamLog, when I change the frequency on here, so you see here we're 7223. I'm 7223 on HamLog. Single sideband, you have to manually change what your power levels are and stuff like that. And you can tell it's connected to the rig because it's green here. If it's not hooked up, that'll turn red on you. So I think I've covered most of that there, and I hope that helps you all out. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this tip. Another ham radio crib note for you to use, and if you've got a Kenwood. So enjoy.